Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video I will just be sharing a bit of advice on how to learn to hear your intuition. I will be doing many more videos on intuition, but for this video I will just be giving you some guidance on how to actually hear your intuition, because I get many questions from people asking, how do I actually hear it? How do I tell the difference between my intuition and, something that isn't actually real and telling me the truth, okay? So there is a very simple way that you can learn to decipher what is your intuition and what is not, okay? Now, especially if you are a woman, because women are incredibly intuitive, and the reason for this is because intuition is of a feminine energy, okay? So because women are naturally rooted in femininity, it means that we are naturally very intuitive. It does not mean that men cannot be intuitive. It just means that men, because they are not rooted in their energy of intuition, they are not so intuitive, and anytime they are being intuitive, they are tapping into feminine energy. But we are rooted in it, and that is why women are known for being so intuitive. But we have been taught to not trust our intuitions and to not even hear them in the first place, okay? So the simple way that you can tell what is your intuition is to look back over your life and remember the times you have had a feeling about something and you have ended up being right, okay? Because we have all had these moments, and if you are a woman, you are likely having them all the time. My intuition is very loud, and for years, even back when I was way younger and I did not trust my intuition, it was still shouting at me all day, every day. So you can look back on the times you had a feeling about something and you ended up being right, okay? And I want you to pick a specific scenario where this occurred. For example, I'll give you an example from my own life. Years ago, when I was much younger, I had a friend who had a boyfriend, and I just knew this guy was not okay. I just knew intuitively. I had a feeling the second I met him that, I could feel this bad energy. I just knew something was very off about him. And years later, everyone found out that he was a bad guy, a very bad guy, okay? And so you can pick a scenario like this where you had a feeling about something or perhaps a person, and it got confirmed to you eventually that you were correct, okay? So I want you to use this scenario, and I want you to really analyze how it felt when you were in this situation and you just knew something. I want you to analyze that feeling, and you are going to decipher the difference in feeling between that feeling that you got that ended up being right and the feelings that get triggered by thoughts you are having. Because the difference between emotions that are being triggered by thoughts you are having and intuition, that deciphering and learning that difference is going to be what allows you to tell the difference between your intuition and feelings you are having simply because you've thought something that has triggered an emotion, okay? So you'll notice that intuitive feelings are just feelings that seemingly randomly come to you. You don't think anything that triggers them, they just come. So for example, if you encounter a person and you just have this feeling about them that is not good, if it's coming from your intuition, the feeling will just be there. It will just turn up seemingly out of nowhere. You'll notice you will not have thought anything that could trigger that emotion. For example, you won't have been thinking, oh, that person is dressed like he could be a dodgy person or whatever, that person looks dodgy. That is like, those are judgments that are triggering emotions that are in alignment with those judgments, okay? And doing this is what causes us to get confused between what is a triggered emotion based on our judgments and what is genuine intuition. Intuition is not triggered by any mental activity, okay? Your intuitive feelings will not be triggered by anything you are thinking. They will just be there. So when you meet somebody for the first time, the feeling that just suddenly comes to you, seemingly out of nowhere, not triggered by anything you were thinking, that is intuition. It's like a baseline feeling that's just sitting there beneath all the shit that's going on in your head, separate from it. It's not being triggered by the things that are going on in your head. But obviously what happens is when we go into any situation, obviously we immediately start thinking about that situation, about that person, and these thoughts and judgments we are having are triggering emotions that are in alignment with those thoughts and judgments. And so we then get confused between what is an intuitive feeling and what is not, okay? So this is how you will learn to hear your intuition. You need to decipher the difference between the emotions that you are feeling that have seemingly come from nowhere and what emotions you are feeling because you have triggered them with your thoughts. And the best way to learn the difference is to go back to the scenarios, or pick one scenario where you got a feeling about something that seemingly came out of nowhere and it turned out to be correct. Remember how that felt. Look back and notice how you did not think anything that triggered that emotion. And sit with that memory and sit with that feeling and really get to know it, okay? And once you do that, you can then practice on a daily basis listening to these feelings and noticing the difference, noticing that's an emotion I've just triggered with my thoughts, and that's an emotion that seemingly came out of nowhere. And when you do this, you will learn to hear your intuition. I believe personally that the intuition is the deeper part of you that is still one with everything, because beneath the illusory separateness of the human experience, we are all one, and we are all one energy, so everything is connected. So that part of you is still within you, below the illusory separateness, and so it always knows the truth about everything because it is one with everything. So I believe this is what the intuition is. My intuition is extremely strong, and it always has been. And my intuition has literally saved me from big things in the past. I remember when I was about 16, I was walking home one night, and because I lived like in the middle of nowhere in like a village in England, and so it was just a really kind of quiet, peaceful place. And so I was kind of used to walking home in the evening in the dark by myself. And one night I had my headphones on and I was just walking along in my own world, not thinking anything bad, not thinking anything other than about the music I was listening to. And I just suddenly, literally, like I walked into a brick wall, like this feeling physically hit me. And in that instant that I walked into this invisible wall, I just knew that I was about to be attacked. And I needed to take my headphones off because I needed to be as aware as possible in order to be able to save myself. And I took my headphones out and I turned the corner because it's like, you know, I could either walk back, but I was like in between two villages surrounded by fields, so it was kind of like if I walk back, I'm going to be kind of walking the same distance as if I keep going. So there wasn't really a safe option, so I just carried on walking. I had my headphones out and I was ready, and somebody tried to attack me. And if I still had my headphones in, I wouldn't have not have heard this person coming, and I would have been in big trouble. So my intuition literally saved me in that big of a way. Your intuition is a superpower. It is that part of you that is still connected to everything and therefore knows everything. It knows who every person is, and it knows what is about to happen. And it's speaking to you all the time. I use my intuition every single day. I hear it clearly every single day. I feel what is coming in my life. Every time I meet somebody, I feel who they are, and it always gets proven right to me. I have learnt not to doubt my intuition, but women as a whole, we have been conditioned to not trust this superpower that we have. And the reason we have been taught not to trust this superpower is because there are people on this earth who know how powerful our gifts are. And once again, I'm not saying that men cannot tap into this gift. They can, but intuition is a feminine energy. It is not structured, it is not limited, and structure is masculine. Intuition is not structured, it is free and boundless, okay? It is a feminine energy, and this is why women are uniquely, incredibly intuitive. And men can tap into intuition, but when they do, it's because they're tapping into feminine energy, okay? No one can deny that women are immensely intuitive, okay? But we have been conditioned not to trust it. And when you do trust it, you become a very powerful person. Now, as I've explained with the stories I've shared, intuition is often felt like a baseline emotion, like you just know beneath everything else, and it's just kind of sitting there beneath everything. And that's how intuition generally feels on a daily basis with various things. Now, with my other story about how my intuition saved me from being attacked, there are times when, and I believe the reason for this is because, like I said, your intuition is the deeper part of you beneath the human experience, illusory separateness that is still one with everything, so it knows what is about to happen. So your intuition knows when you need a wake-up call that is very strong, because if you don't have this wake-up call, you are going to be in serious trouble, like life-threatening trouble. That is why when I was walking home that night, I got such a powerful intuition punch. Like, you know, why it was physically so much more powerful than the general kind of baseline knowing you get just when you're kind of living your life and you're meeting different people and you're getting feelings about different people because your intuition's telling you who they are. It's generally, because I mean, can you imagine if you were just living every day and you were continuously being like punched with invisible walls by your intuition because It wants you to know who that person is and what this situation is. It just wouldn't work, okay? And your intuition is intelligent because it's that part of you that is still connected with everything. So it knows when you need a good punch, and it knows when you just need that baseline knowing that you need to learn to listen to, okay? So generally in day-to-day life, intuition is just like that baseline knowing emotion that's sitting beneath all the shit that you've got going on in your head and the emotions you are triggering with the shit that's going on in your head. And other times when something really big is about to happen, your intuition is intelligent, so it knows that you need a bigger wake-up call, okay? So likely you will have experienced both. I have experienced both many times. I experience the baseline knowing with everything in my life on a daily basis, and I use it to make decisions because I recognize it, I've learned to listen to it, and I trust it, I know not to ignore it. And then other times I will get, big hits when I need to be warned about something very quickly. Okay, so I just wanted to explain that difference in the way that our intuition talks to us in accordance with what is going on in our life, because it is that intelligent. When you learn to get back into your femininity and trust and hear your intuition, you can use this for every area of your life, because we have been, as women, we have been conditioned into a state of distrust, okay? And we've actually been taught that women are naturally not trusting of themselves, naturally insecure with themselves. This is a complete lie. Our natural state is intuition. Our natural state is knowing. Women are knowing beings, okay? Because intuition is our energy. It's feminine energy. So our natural state is knowing. It is not distrust of ourselves, okay? We have been conditioned into this a continuous state of not trusting ourselves, because when a woman trusts herself, she is powerful, okay? So I will be doing so many more videos on intuition. So I really hope this one has helped you, and I'll see you in the next one.